First, let me just say, Mike, congratulations, Governor. Michael, you're absolutely right. Every one of us was changed today, and your words were absolute magic and have such significance and meaning for all of us. And I think all of us know and appreciate everything that you've accomplished. And for one, I would agree with you, Governor, we need him to take a larger role in health care. So, Mike, congratulations. Now, normally, most of you know that when I get up to a microphone, it's to talk about Concern Worldwide and the dinner that's going to take place on Monday night. But I'm not here to do that today. As we listen to each of the speakers, what we heard today was the talk of how fortunate and blessed we are to have the heritage that we have, to come from a land that is filled with incredible magic. It's not from the leprechauns. It's from those that work so hard to make things possible. Something that happened just recently at Dromoland Castle, one of the most famous places in all of Ireland, one of the most distinguished. And on one night, it became something even more special, even more magical. Because public broadcasting, Channel 13, had the wisdom to decide that what are we really all about is a love of music, of stories, and the ability to smile. Today, it's a privilege for me, and my wife Joan's not here, so I will say it out loud publicly, although I wish her husband wasn't here. I love Judy Collins. I've said it before. I'm madly in love with you, Judy. Louis, I'm sorry. You've heard me say it. Judy Collins has held a special place in our country, in our hearts. She has been through the years that were important to this nation and continues to play an important role in this country. She has put together, with the help of Channel 13, a special broadcast that will be played on 13 in the near future. And it was a concert she did going home to Dromoland Castle to perform. Mutual of America had the privilege to be one of the sponsors. I would extend to each and every one of you that there's still an opportunity to support that broadcast. And I have to tell you from past experience, there is nothing like seeing your company's name listed on Channel 13 with a thank you from Judy Collins. Please join me in welcoming one of the great stars of our lives, Judy Collins.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tom. I am so privileged to be here. I want to congratulate Michael and thank the governor. It was a thrill to hear both of you and to be present today among my compatriots, my Irish relatives. Somewhere down the road we're related. I thought I would just get this out of the way quickly. Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air, feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, and now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds' illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Patricia, thank you for hosting this wonderful event and to being in my life. This has been an Irish year a spectacular year, in part because we got to know each other, and I got to know the Irish Americans around the room and around the city and around the world. And I've spent a lot of time in Ireland this past summer, beginning with a trip there in May and then going back in June for the wonderful celebration of the 50th anniversary of the JFK visit to his homeland, to his homestead in Ireland, which he did in 1963, shortly after I sang for the president at a B'nai B'rith dinner, giving him the Humanitarian Award in March of 1963. We were joined by a huge number of Kennedys, and of course that fills the day with joy and funny stories and heartbreaking memories. And it was a privilege to be there. We were accompanied by, of course, the Eternal Flame. There's also a young woman in the room today, Megan, who is a genealogist who's been helping me in this past year to trace my family and to trace them in ways that I wasn't able to get a handle on before. My father sang the Irish songs. You know, I'd wake up and, well, I'd hear him rehearsing for his radio show, and he would be singing something like, "My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine," and then he would break into, "If you ever go across the sea to Ireland, then maybe at the closing of the day," or he'd sing maybe, "I'll take you home again, Kathleen." And my mother's name was Marjorie, so we knew that there were other things in operation here. And my mother then, of course, warned me to beware of Irish Alzheimer's, where you forget everything but the grudges. And so, not to mention the Irish virus, which I love the way Dorothy Parker puts that. You know, she said, "I like to have a martini, too, at the very most. 3, and I'm under the table. 4, and I'm under the host." So, identification in that laugh. And there's an Italian version of this, too, Governor, if you'd like to hear that. So, so through this past summer, and of course my wonderful husband, Louis, has traveled with me. My husband, of course, is Norwegian, which means that he thinks that as a Viking, he began all of this and takes responsibility for most of the room here. I'm not going to sing the whole song, but because we were talking a lot about our ancestry and about the people who came here, there's a young man named Michael Collins in the room who's going to do a DNA test to see how far back we go together and apart. But so I thought a little about this song. I sang it on the Irish special, which will be on in March. But there's a new moon over the Hudson, and the stars are shining bright, and I think about my true love. I'll start a little lower, okay? That's what happens when you just reach into the air and pull out a note, you know, and you've had lunch. There's a new moon over the Hudson, and the stars are shining bright, and I think about my true love in Ireland tonight. He'll walk in purple heather through the hills and on to home, and I wonder why I ever had to roam Central Park at midnight in a carriage in the snow, and I think of Innisfree, where the emerald shamrocks grow. I'm leaving in the morning, I'll sing the old sweet songs, and I'll never leave till all is said and done. There are seas that rolled between us, there are rivers we have crossed, but I never have forgot the way he smiled. There are hearts that have been broken My father's father's father, he sailed from Irish shores. They played the drums in Lexington. They fought the Civil Wars. They died to save the Union. They lived to see me born. And in their dreams they saw the Irish morn. There were seas that rolled beneath them. There were rivers that they crossed. But they never did forget the Irish songs. There were hearts that had been broken and the promise almost lost. But in their hearts they knew where they belonged. It's a long, long way to New York City from the shores of County Cork, and the ships that brought us over here were made of tears and smoke. I'm leaving in the morning. I'll sing the old sweet songs, and I'll walk in purple heather. I'll sing in purple heather. I'll dance in heather till the Irish dawn. There you are.